Hi there, friends. Welcome to December. Behind me, I have my special angel wing plant, which I discovered this spring in our local nursery. And for those of you who are gardeners, it's an amazing plant and it reminds you of angel wings. And it's coming to be December, Advent, Christmas. And of course, people are saying, as children, I'd like this, I'd like this, I'd like this. But recently, at the beginning of November, I was in Saskatchewan for the amazing Sask Women in Ag Connect 2025 conference. And I was privileged to be a closing keynote speaker talking about impacting the dynamics of conflict on family farms. And so one of the questions I asked my audience of farm and ranch women was, what do you truly need in this moment? And I think this is a good question for all of us, male and female, to ponder in the month of December when people are all concerned about Christmas celebrations and getting together as families, and that's creating some tension because we all have expectations. So in this blog, I just want to outline some of the needs that came back to me through my cell phone in a text from the women sitting in my audience, and they may surprise you. One of them was, Elaine, I need people to understand my point of view. And the day previous to my speech, I had coached very privately 9 women who came to me for coaching for different things. And this is a woman who was looking, as she was aging in place on the farm, to find out what her new role might look like. But also understanding my point of view means having a voice and being respected and heard. And remember, most women who marry into farms are in-laws. And some women, yes, are the successor, but they came from a totally different family of origin. So can you ask your spouse, what do you truly need in this season? Another text came in and said, I need to know how to deal with a father-in-law who's stubborn and is like a dead man walking, 2 heart attacks, other health issues. And many farm founders continue to work hard with their heads down, believing everything will just work out because they're high conflict avoiders and procrastinators. And Dr. Kate Burke from Australia has just written a book called Succession, Future-Proofing Your Family, Your Farm. I had the privilege of pre-reading it, and she uses the term delayed decision-making in terms of procrastination. It's delayed deferral syndrome is what she calls it. So you can't keep pushing things off out and hoping that it's just going to solve itself and things will just work out. So folks, don't let go of anything unless they have something more exciting to move toward. So as this becomes a season also of reflection and post-harvest and getting rest and working out, navigating winter, it's a good time to reflect on what do you truly want to move forward to. It also talks about or begs the question about why is a person so stubborn, and it may be because the founders are afraid of the next generation losing or having financial stress on the farm. And that may or may not be a valid story. So that's where you need to have financial transparency. So you need to ask, I'm just curious, what are you truly afraid of as you let go of your manager roles? And I'm sorry about the heart attack and the other health issues, but these are wake-up calls that things have to shift. Another woman texted back, Elaine, I need procrastination to stop. That's that delayed deferral of decision-making syndrome. I need to sit with that, and I need to make a plan. And there you go. Who can you change? You can only change yourself. So if you start as the next gen having better financial literacy, taking some financial literacy courses, looking at what your production records are and finding out and in understanding where your income streams are and what the expenses are looking like, you start learning and changing, and then other things are going to shift as well. So change begins with your own behavior, and you need to think about what you need and want in order to activate a plan to make it happen. So Christmas is also a time, folks, that it reminds us that the year has flown quickly by. And someone says that life is like a roll of toilet paper, and the closer you get to the end of the roll, the faster it rolls. So what can you do over this next few weeks of planning and reflecting to think about getting more clarity for your farm and more clarity for your family's future on whether the vision for the future of the family is aligned and also the vision for your farm? Another woman texted in, I need compassionate conflict resolution. emphasis on compassionate. So you can do conflict well with no intent to cause harm to others by focusing on putting yourselves in the other person's perspective, sharing emotions, reaching out, and creating solutions. So sound communication that expresses emotion is not bad. I'm disappointed, I'm afraid, I'm annoyed, I'm irritated, however you want to do it. But it's the sound and the tone of your voice, and it's your intent. And if your intent is to create and find solution without causing harm, that's great. That's going to be a good outcome. So you can learn to express your emotions beyond feeling sad and mad, and say something like, I'm feeling hopeful and excited that we're finally sitting down with a facilitator to figure out what everyone expects and needs in this farm transition. Another woman said, I need a way to approach my in-laws to decrease my anxiety. Yes. Daughter-in-laws don't always feel like their voice is important, or that it's seen, or that it's heard. And they also sometimes tell themselves a story, Elaine, I don't want to come across as entitled. That's not my deal. That's not my jam. I want a plan, but I want to also have better control of understanding how the finances are managed. And in this case, there was some very significant red flags of the founders extricating money from the farm without telling them why that was happening. And young farmers who are in their early 40s are at the stage in life where they need certainty of equity and control over their own future. And if that's not happening, that's super frustrating. So Brene Brown says, being clear is kind, and the best way to make an approach is to come from curiosity. And I suggested preparing the older generation with a typed letter, Word document that you can craft with your spouse. You deliver the letter and you let them process the importance of where you're not sleeping well at night because of the anxiety and overwhelm and the pain of not knowing what your future looks like. And you just don't want to live that way anymore. So be brave, be prepared, and practice positive conflict resolution skills like reaching out and adapting, so that you attack the challenges and the problems and not the people. And here's an interesting quote that came in another text. What do you need in this moment? Elaine, I need someone, excuse me, to hold my hand while we work through family conflict. Folks, you are not alone. Whether you're in the workplace as an agriculture advisor, an agronomist, whether you're holding a job off farm plus farming, we can have confidential calls with you on Zoom, with you and your spouse, with the founder couple and siblings, to work through some of these tough issues so that you can all get clarity of expectations. Because when your needs are being met and aligned with what you really need, then you don't have this disconnect and you don't have high tension, and high conflict. We also have a conflict dynamic profile that you can find at elainefraise.com or famfamilycoach.com in the shop. And that's an online tool to help you self-assess what your good conflict behavior is, what's triggering you, and what your not so good destructive behavior might look like. Remember, only you can change you. And it's the season where we want to gather well and celebrate Christmas well with our families, and strong families celebrate. So just take a moment to use this question. What do you need this Christmas? But think about, it's not a gift of a thing. It's a way of being on your farm. See you next time.